Hi, good morning, my friends. You are welcome to my channel, Gas, Oil, Water, Knowledge Hub. This is Om Namah Shiva. Previously, I released MIDSTREAM Part A, B, C, D. Now this is regarding WPS. WPS means Welding Procedure Specifications. This welding procedure specifications, which required in the midstream welding purpose. Whatever I am discussing in this WPS, this is related to only midstream welding activities. Before going to WPS, I would like to highlight few points and discuss about the same thing. This is 12 points, topics covered in this WPS. It may take long time. However, I'll make in few parts. Each video may not be more than 10 to 15 minutes time, like part A, B, C, D, WPS. Keep it in your mind and go through all topics covered in this video or parts. Point number 1, importance of welding in midstream pipelines. We'll brief about metal joining process. Number 2, applicable standards, APA 1104, welding techniques commonly used for pipelines. Welding procedure specification, description, sample WPS, parameters, variables. Variables in the sense, essential variables. Then point number 4, procedure qualification required. You will see sample PQR, sample requirements, common types of tests, and photographs, etc. Welder, welding operator performance qualification. You will find WPQ, applicability, etc. Base metal details, number 6. I'll brief about API 5L, common grades, standard lengths, manufacturing process. Number 7, filler materials, details, different types of grades, sizes. Weld joint details, about joint identification, markup, fit up, tools and fixtures used, etc. Number 9, important points to consider during welding operation, standard procedure, tips, best practices, etc. Number 10, non-destructive testing of pipeline weld joints, types, limitations and benefits. Number 11, acceptance criteria, as the standards and snapshots also you will find. Number 12 is most important for you guys to do homework. Whatever you learn in this WPS welding process specification related to pipelines welding, you just have to do little bit homework. The points, tips I will give you. Importance of welding process in oil and gas industry. Before we move forward, let us understand why steel is the most preferred choice for oil and gas pipelines. Steel pipes are much more durable than pipes made out of other materials. The strength of steel pipe enables it to withstand vibrations, shock and high pressure, unlike other metals. Steel will bend rather than break under extreme conditions, helping to prevent spills or leaks. Custom steel pipes can be manufactured to any dimensions as required by the specification of the job. They can also be easily modified on site, making them easily to install. Any maintenance of modifications that are needed after installation can be done quickly and easily because steel is very easy metal to work with in the manner. You can see this hoop stresses in the pipe, both directions, upwards and downwards. Longitudinal stresses, both sides. Then pressure applied. You can understand thus how the stresses. Okay. What is the most economical and effective method of joining steel pipes together? Of course, it is welding, mainly because of the following reasons. Welding produces permanent joints, 100% strength like the base metal. Leak-proof joints. Once you do welding, it's a leak-proof. So it will go under so many tests also after welding. Let us discuss later. High load carrying capacity. No change in cross-sectional area. Lighter assembly. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Types of welding commonly used in oil and gas pipelines. Hare Krishna, SMAW, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare remains the preferred process because it minimizes equipment requirements and skilled operators can constantly produce sound weld beats. On thinner wall pipe, downhill welding enables operators to run hot and fast, increasing productivity compared to welding uphill, which is required on thicker wall pipe to increase heat input to ensure complete penetration. To control the molten metal weld pool and prevent the slag from rolling in front of pole, downhill welding requires a fast freezing. Example, you can take 6010 electrode, cellulose based electrode. These electrodes have a thin coating 10 to 12% by weight that contains around 30% of cellulose wood flour, and it is associated moisture content. Other ingredients include a sodium silicate binder, titanium dioxide to create a quick freezing slag, deoxidizers such as ferromagnets and ferrosilicon, as well as other elements that vary by manufacturer. These points you should keep in mind. During welding, the heat of the arc metals, the cellulose, and turns into carbon monoxide. Carbon dioxide, large amounts of hydrogen. Carbon dioxide becomes the shielding gas and hydrogen increases arc voltage to create a driving, deeply penetrating arc. A desirable characteristic when welding an open root joint in field conditions, as well as for melting through rust and dirt in field repair applications. Cellulose electrodes also strike easily making them well suited for tack welds. Electrode E6010 electrodes produces a weld pool that wets and spreads well. It sets up fast enough to make this electrode ideal for downhill welding technique. The weld bead is flat with coarse ripples and covered with a thin friable slag layer that is easily removed, which helps to prevent slag inclusions when making multiple passes. Applicable standards for pipeline welding. First, let us understand why standards are important. Standards enhance the safety of industry operations, assure quality, help keep costs down, reduce waste and minimize confusion. They help speed acceptance and bring products to market quicker. And they avoid having a reinvent the wheel every time a product is manufactured. You see this? API Standard 1104, Welding of Pipeline and Related Facilities. Errata, April 1, 2004, 18. It will be reviewed and updated once in almost 3 years. Applicable international standards for midstream pipeline welding and related facilities. This standard covers details like welding process specification, procedure qualification, qualification of welders, filler metals, joint design and preparation, inspection and testing, NDT and non-destructive testing, accepted standards for NDT, repair and removal of defects, sample templates, forms, etc. See this welding process specification. This welding process specification is a sample format. Formal written document describing welding procedures which provides direction to the welder or welding operator for making sound and quality production. Welds as per the code requirements. The purpose of the document is to guide welders to the accepted procedures so that repeatable and trusted welding techniques are used. A WPS is developed for each material, alloy, and for each welding type used. Specific codes and our engineering societies are often the driving force behind the development of companies' WPS. See, this is a joint. How the joint should be, what is the gap required, and root pass, which electrode, which technique, which process, hot pass. Let us discuss what is hot pass, root pass in next slides, and filler and capping, SMAW. Okay, welding process SMAW. You can see this root pass, hot pass, all these things, filler and capping. Okay. See, first of we'll try to understand how many WPSs are required during midstream welding, pipelines welding, and what techniques to be used. Let us see here. 1 WPS means number 1 WPS, vertical downhill welding technique. See, mainline welding. When you are joining pipe to pipe in mainline, 1 kilometer approximately you will get 83 joints. So depends on the pipe length. Double random, mostly double random pipes will be used. I have briefed what is double random, what is single random in my previous videos, and you can understand. Go through that, you can understand. The vertical position downhill welding is carried out with a downward progression. Downhill is adequate for thinner steel less than 0.5 inches wall thickness. You can see this. From top, they will come like this. This is called downhill welding. Okay. Dolly mix technique. This dolly mix technique, the root pass will be welded in uphill progression, and the remaining passes will be in downhill conventional pipeline welding. Welding progression is an essential variable for any welding procedure and has its importance in the soundness mechanical properties of welds. But why WPS? Why dolly mix weld technique is required? When you do straight line welding, it is simply downhill welding. When you are adding a tying joint or any fittings like bar tees, flanges, that time you should use this dolly mix technique. Dolly mix technique in the sense, root pass they will go from bottom to top in this direction. Okay. And only root pass. Other passes will be same as downhill. So it is required a separate WPS since essential variables are there. Let us discuss later what are the essential variables requirements. Number 3 WPS. It is a partial repair. What is partial repair? Try to understand. Once either downhill or dolly mix techniques welding is completed for a welded joint and it has been tested, NDT testing carried out, it found some non-compiling. That means repair, maybe porosity, maybe slag inclusions, maybe crack, these things. So partial repair covers above the root pass. Any slag inclusions, porosity, scattered porosity are there, it will be excavated. The metal up to that particular area has marked the radiography film and it will be repaired. That's why it is called partial repair. Is it clear? Above the root pass, when you do any repair, is called partial repair activity. Then capping repairs. Capping means top layer of the welding in a weld joint. Okay, any imperfections you can say rather than defect. Why I am using imperfection terminology? Any imperfection, if you found or after the radiography testing or any NDT methods, once you observe the imperfection and analyze, compare with the standards, compliances. If it is not meeting the required compliances, then you can say it is a repair. Defect. The defect should be attended by means of either partial repair, capping, or full repair. Okay. Now, the partial repair means I explained about the root pass. Capping means only top welding. Any porosity is there on the top surface. Okay, these things, slag inclusions on the top, slag properly not removed. This is also a WPS called capping welding. In other words, simple reinforcement repair. Number 5 WPS. Fifth WPS, it is full repair welding. Full repair means any imperfection observed in the NDT testing, radiography, specifically radiography and ultrasonic testing, in the root pass, the specific area to be marked on the pipe, and it will be excavated completely up to root pass. Remove the weld metal and rewelding, re-root pass and other part passes as per the WPS full repair procedures. Is commonly used technique in which the cracked materials is removed by arc dowsing and open the root pass, and the element is welded to rejoin the material on the either side of the back crack. So this is called full repair methods. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 WPS are required to complete the midstream pipeline, cross-country pipeline, whatever we call. Now you can see this sixth one, vertical uphill technique. Uphill moves in an upward progression. Uphill is considered stronger, but as it takes longer time, the potential for burn through is greater. It is better for thicker steels. Both techniques require practice, but can produce a good looking sound weldment. Refinery piping work is controlled by ASME section 9 for this uphill welding progression. Normally in midstream, why we are talking in the midstream? Midstream, there are some station works are available. We need to go and do station works. For that, maybe couple of joints will come, which is in-plant piping as per section 9 to be completed. So we cannot keep a separate team for that. Maybe small area covered, maybe one wall, 2 flanges, maybe small length of pipe in the station area. Some bypass lines system will be there. So that same welder can do, provided he should be qualified vertical uphill technique as per section 9. Is it clear? Now, PQR, Procedure Qualification Recorder. Each WPS is supported by a Procedure Qualification Recorder. A PQR is a record of test well performed and tested more rigorously to ensure that the procedure will produce a good weld. See, this is also covered by section 9. Boiler pressure versus code. QW 483, Procedure Qualification Recorder. These are the tests, T1, T2, okay, type number, breadth, thickness, area, ultimate strength, UTS, fracture location, remarks. So this is just sample only, okay, but whatever you have mentioned, WPS as per section 9 or 1104. If it is section 9 uphill welding, you have to go through this. If it is the WPS prepared according to the 1104, you have to go through 1104 requirements. Okay. So these are the 1104 requirements. It depends on pipe diameter and weld techniques. Okay, you will find these configurations in the APA 1104. Tensile test per specimen, guided bend test specimen, Charpy impact test specimen. So you can see this. Mostly this Charpy impact test will be done for the nace material. Okay. Next. Table 2, it is just tensile strength, nick break test, root bend test, face bend test, side bend test, and total test to be carried out. And what are the location, what are the diameter ranges, and all it is given in 1104. At the end, this is the welder PQ, WPQ, and why it is so important. Individual welders are certified with a qualification test documented as a welder performance qualification record that shows they have the understanding and have demonstrated the ability to work within the specified WPS. So that's the reason WPS, Welder and Welding Operator Performance Qualification Record. A form is like this, standard form it is, and we have to provide, a company, organization will provide a welder with the name, welder number, process SMAW, GMAW, FCAW, position 3G, 4G, 1F, 2F, 3F, 4F, which position and which material P1, P1 to P8, anything, whatever it is, and electrodes, filler metals, current, DCEP. Okay. These are the things reflected in the welder identification card. Wherever he goes, it is a certificate for him, identity. Oh, this welder is qualified in this welding procedure, this thickness and this diameter. Each welding operator shall be qualified by producing an acceptable weld using the qualified welding procedures. The completed weld shall be tested by destructive methods, non-destructive methods, or both, and shall meet the requirements 6.4 through 6.7 except nick break test as per the 1104, APA 1104. Shall not be required. Should a welded procedure qualification utilize a manual semi-automatic pass? As outlined in 12.1, the nick break test in 5.6.4 shall be required as part of the welding operator qualification. The tensile strength test shall not be replaced by as part of welding operator's qualification. The tensile strength test shall not be replaced by nick break test and thus omitted. Prior to the start of welding, each welding operator shall have received adequate training in the operation of the welding equipment. If operator, the welding process involves more than one operation, welding operator shall be qualified on the type of welding equipment that will be used in production welding. Changes in the essential variables described in 12.6.2 of 1104 require requalification for the welding operators. These things, changes require requalification welders, changes in the following essential variable require requalification of the welder operator. I try to understand when a requalification is required, a separate WPS is required. What are the essential variables? We should understand. It is very clearly given in 1104. Still, you go through this, a change from welding process, mode of transfer, polarity or method of application to another welding process or combination. of process. Short arc, pulse arc, spray arc, gas junction arc, etc. Means some places they will ask combination of welding. Root pass is GTAW or FCAW. Other passes shall be SMAW. It's essential variables. A change in the direction of welding from vertical uphill to vertical downhill or vice versa. A change in the filler metal type of solid wire, metal core, flux core. A change from the specified OD group to another. OD less than 12.75, 323 inches, 323 millimeters, and OD equal to or greater than 12.75. It is essential variables. A separate qualification is required for all these points. E. Welding operator shall qualify on the heaviest specified wall thickness that the welder operator will weld in production. A change position from that which the welder operator has already qualified, example, a change from roll to fixed or change from vertical to horizontal. A welder who qualifies in the fixed position shall also be qualified to perform rolled welds within the essential variables qualification. A change in welding by manufacturer or model. A change in the method of applying the root bead, external root versus internal root. A major in joint design, example, from V groove to U groove or J groove, or any change beyond the range established for such factors as spacing root of root face, angle of bevel, quantities, and essential variables. A list of qualified welders, ID codes of welder with complete details and all records duly signed shall be available. As discussed earlier in the presentation, steel is the preferred choice of construction in oil and gas industries. Various different grades of steels are used for manufacturing of pipelines. You can see this API specification 5L grade pipe. It is called line pipe. Applicable specification API specification 5L line type. So this is specification cover all aspects in detail, including the following: pipe grades, delivery condition, process of manufacturing, starting material, weld seams, heat treatment requirements, chemical compositions, tensile properties, hydrostatic test, inspection, marking. Why it is important to understand the base metal properties before deciding on the welder filler metal. You can see this chemical compositions are different. Okay. It is right to say that joining together two materials is for the most part a matter of chemistry, which filler metal best matches the base metals. In the chemistry of this base material and filler metals matches, the mechanical properties such as the tensile and yield strength will also match. Welding operators can rest assured that their weld deposit will have the same strength and properties as the base material. Is it clear? The table on the right side, you can see this example of how the chemical composition, tensile properties of the pipe material specified in the specifications. See, yield strength, tensile strength, this is L175 pipe grade or A25, it is different. But see the properties, pipe body of seamless welded pipes. A filler metal is metal added in the making of joint through welding, brazing or soldering. If you see the ASME boilers and pressure vessels, Section 2, Part C, Materials. Specification for welding rods, electrodes and filler metals. Applicable standards and specifications. AWS, ISO also. The ASME Section 2, Part C discusses in the detail the electrodes classification system, material descriptions, welding material applications, welding material procurement, and filler metal certification. So go through the Part C. It is general grouping of electrodes that contains a similar flex or core components and which have similar usability characteristics. You can see this. Filler metals grouping. It is as per the 1104. Group 1. AW specification A 5.1, A 5.5. AW's classification of electrodes E6010, E6011, E7010, E7011. Group 2, A 5.5, where you use E8010, E8011, E9010. 3. Group A 5.1 or A 5.5, A 5.5. E7015, E7016, E7018, A 5.5, E8015, E8016, E8018. 4A. So these are the grouping AW specification, AW's classification of electrodes and flex core. This is also available in 1104. You see this weld joints, type of welding joints. You can see this original surface of work called V-groove. This is face. This is reinforcement. This is toe, both sides toe. It is a parent metal. Okay. This is fusion zone. From here to here it is called fusion zone. Okay. Root penetration. Try to understand this V joint. Okay. This is called butt joint. Types of welding joints. This is lap joint. This is corner joints. This is edge joint. Welding will be done here. Edges. Tree joint. Okay. This is T joint. Root gap should be land area root face. It is 0.8 mm to 1.6 mm. This is called land area or root face, a root gap. This is bevel angle. Bevel angle total could be 70 degrees. Each side 37.5 plus or minus 2.5 degrees. That means both sides it can be maximum 75 degrees. Okay. This is capping lap. This is parent metal. The lap should be 0.8 to 1.6 mm maximum. It should not come up to 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters. Only maximum 1.6 mm both sides of the V groove on the parent metal. That is called capping lap. As we discussed earlier, this is parent metal V groove. The first run, what you do, it is root pass. It may be uphill or downhill progression. Okay. And here the number 2 is called hot pass. Number 3, 4 are filler passes. Number 5 is capping. So this is the terminology in the weld V-groove joint. Root pass is string bead. All other passes are V-bead. What is string bead? What is V-bead? There are string bead means once you hold the electrode straight, right upwards or downwards you take in one direction is called string bead. V-bead means you will move the electrode from here to here in the weld joint like this. This is called V-bead. Okay. This is V-bead zigzag. You will take like this, like this, like this, like this. You weld like this. A welder, during the welder qualification test, you can observe these things as an inspector, as an engineer, for learning point of view. Okay. This is pipeline fit-up joint without clamp. You can say this is one pipe, this is one pipe. They join with the tag system. This tagging is called a bridge tag. Okay. This bridge tag means a same metal of the pipe, they will cut one end, small piece, and they'll put in center both sides on the piece they will weld. Why this is required bridge tag? To prevent damage on the root face of land area of the main welding joint, welding area. Okay. This is called external clamp. Pipeline joint fit up with external clamp. See, this external clamp, they fitted with the clamp. Is a pipeline, main line. The welder is doing welding. There are certain written documents. This clamp can be removed after root pass or not pass, or root pass, or till completion of welding. They have to specify in the specification. So as per while fitting, they do fitting with the external clamp, and the clamp will be removed once they complete the root pass, hot pass as per the procedure, then only they can complete. It is not required to keep till completion of the welding. These are called external clamps. Manual external clamp. This is hydraulic external clamp. Mainly used in the main line. This is internal clamps. Probably they may use near the tying joints. Okay. Sorry. This clamps will be used in main line. This external clamp will be used for tying joints. Some important points for welding of pipelines. You can say these are the important points, essential variables. Gas and arc welding of butt, fillet and socket welds in carbon and alloy steels, piping used in the compression, pumping and transmission lines. Welding equipment, both gas and arc, shall be of size and type suitable for the work, shall be maintained in a condition that ensures acceptable welds, continuity of operation, safety of personnel. Arc welding equipment shall be operated within the amperage and voltage ranges given in the qualified welding procedure specification. Gas welding equipment shall be operated with the flame characteristics and tip sizes given in the qualified welding procedures specification. Equipment that does not meet this requirement shall be repaired and replaced. The welding of pipe or piping components that conforms to material and product specifications as approved drawings. Filler metal types. All filler metals and flexes shall conform to one of the following as per welding procedure specification and procedure qualification record. AWS 5.1, 5.2, 5.5 or 5.7, 17, 5.18, any of these things. Okay. The material to which the procedure applies shall be identified, API 5L pipe, as well as material that conforms to the other product specification as per 1104 latest edition. You go through the latest edition and ensure that latest edition is available in office and site also. The ranges of specified outside diameter and specified wall thickness over which the procedure is applicable shall be identified. A sketch or sketches of the joint that shows the angle of bevel, the size of root face and the root opening or the space between abutting members, the shape and size of fillet welds shall be shown. If a backing is used, the type of shall be designated. The sizes and classification number of filler metals and flex and the minimum number of and sequence of beads shall be designated. The current and polarity shall be designated and the range of voltage and ampere for each type and size of electrode, rod or wire shall be shown. The size of orifice in the torch, each size of rod of wire shall be specified. The specification shall be designated roll-on or position welding. The specification shall be designated whether the welding is to be performed in an uphill or downhill direction. The line pipe clamp, the line-up clamp is to be internal or external, or if no clamp is required, if a clamp is used, the minimum percentage of root and bead that shall be completed before the clamp is released shall be specified. Filler metals and fluxes and inert gases shall be stored and handled to avoid damage to them and to the containers in which they are shipped, and shall be in a written work instructions document shall be established for storage of electrodes. Filler metals and inert active gases or mixture of inert or active gases. The document shall be approved by management representative. All necessary welding procedures shall be established as per API 1104 latest edition only. Before production welding is started, a detailed welding procedure specification shall be established and qualified to demonstrate the welds with suitable mechanical properties such as strength, ductility and hardness, and soundness can be made by the procedure. The quality of the weld shall be determined by destructive testing. These procedures shall be adhered to except where a change is especially authorized by the company. The maximum time between the completion of the root bead and the start of the second bead, as well as the maximum time between the completion of second bead and the start of the other beads shall be designated and recorded. Indicate whether power tools or hand tools are to be used for cleaning purpose, grinding or both. And specify preheat post-weld heat treatment, PWH requirement, and preheat post-weld heat treatment temperatures. So every company should establish PWHD procedures. If required, they can apply that specific procedure. Specify the type of shield, inert gas, flow rate. The type of shielding flux shall be designated. The range for speed of the travel in inches or millimeters per minute shall be specified for each pass. If forced cooling is to be used, the specification shall be designated by the type of cooling after welding, such as forced cooling with water as well as the maximum metal temperature at which forced cooling is applied. Position. A change in position from roll to fixed or vice versa constitutes an essential variable. Wall thickness. Filler metal as per group and suffix number specified API 1104. For any filler metals with a G suffix designation or only. A change in the manufacturer's or trade name. For any filler metals with a G suffix designate only. A change in the manufacturer's or trade name. Materials with a SMYS greater than or equal to the of the material, that material specified as per API 5L grade 65. Any change in the AWS classification of the filler metal. Electrical characteristics, AC to DC or vice versa. Specify essential variables. A welding procedure shall be re-established as a new welding procedure specification and shall be completely requalified when any of the essential variables are changed as specified in the API 1104 or latest edition. Welding procedure, process or method of application. Base materials. SMYS less than or equal to that of the material specified as per API 5L grade X42. Joint design. Orifice diameter, orifice gas composition. For plasma arc welding, a change in orifice gas nominal composition or a change in orifice diameter. Method of cooling after welding. An increase in the maximum weld temperature prior to forced cooling. A change in the method of cooling after welding resulting in a high rate of cooling also requires requalification of the welding procedure. These are the essential variables. Now, NDT methods, non-destructive testing, NDT for pipeline weldings. You can see this. Commonly used NDT techniques. Visual inspection. Once radiography is completed, you will see the radiography and you will observe the imperfections. Maybe in root pass, this is indicating in root pass. Okay, maybe capping. So, a special qualification and training is required to interpret the radiographic test. Okay, and magnetic particle test. Okay, liquid penetrant test. Ultrasonic testing. This is. There are these methods mainly they will apply for non-destructive testing. Acceptance criteria for NDT. Indications which are identified using any NDT method is accepted or rejected in the reference to the standards. The standards which client accepts or the standards which client specified for production is called as acceptance criteria. Now, a client will, these are the acceptance criteria as per 1104. Now, client says, okay, you can reduce further maybe 2 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spots are here. It is called a porosity. Okay. The client says some porosity is acceptable for me, because to say that design criteria is most important. Any imperfection in root pass shall not be acceptable. Okay. Any imperfection which is not meeting the specific criteria, also not acceptable. But the second point what I said is, that is depends on the client's requirement, client specification. If client says, okay, above the root pass, accept the porosity, some length, some clusters is acceptable. If he says, then okay. Because the client will specify as per the operating parameters, design thickness, flow rate of the fluid, operating pressures and velocity. Okay. If we go as per the acceptance criteria, no, this is not acceptable, then they go for partial repair or full repair. It will take a long time, which is not required, because design parameters considering certain things. A client will specify in the specification, we have to follow that. Okay. So depth, length, details are given here. Okay. Now this is last side, but not least. Homework for those desirous of acquiring further knowledge. My simple suggestion, in this video, efforts have been made to give an overview of the minimum basics knowledge required for the young professionals to build up a strong foundation in pipeline welding, midstream pipelines. However, for effective learning and longer retention, some further studies being recommended below as homework. You repeatedly see this video, previous videos, and try to make your mind to do some homework. What is the homework? Revise, refresh your knowledge about welding process, essential variables. Instead of academic books, try to read books published for industry. One example, Welding Handbook, as published by AWS. You go through this book, you will gain some good knowledge. That exercise you have to do. Homework. Increase your knowledge about the different international standards available and their applicability. Some examples: ANSI, ASME, API, ASTM, BS, ISO, NACE, IS, DIN, GIS. These are the different international standards. These are also available in the net, or some libraries, college libraries or company libraries. Go through these international standards. Try to enhance your knowledge and find opportunities to observe actual welding process. You go to field, pay attention to details like the safety measurements taken, the type of machine used, welding technique used, the welder's qualification, filler material details, base metal details, the machine parameters being controlled, the dimensions being controlled, the hand movements, ambient conditions, etc. And try to match them with your academic knowledge. So it is always recommended. I fully force you to go to the field and observe the welding. Since you are a junior person, it is very easy to learn, understand. Okay, and energetic also you are. Go there and observe the parameters what I explained. Find out how the various steel grades are specified. For example, try to understand what is ASTM steel grading system and try to correlate with the materials we see around us. Build a thorough understanding about basic metallurgy of steels. Increase your knowledge about various NDT techniques as used in the industry. Many NDT personal certifications centers are available across India. And this is, I recommend, go to NDT company, very famous companies like BITS in Visakhapatnam. So many NDT companies are there. Go there. They are all professionals. level 3 professionals, go there, try to take advantage of learning and qualify for the NDT techniques as per ASNT level 2. Okay, my friends, thank you. Best wishes for your career ahead. Your knowledge is your asset. This is Om Namah Shiva. You are welcome to my channel. Subscribe my channel. Share my channel. Write your comments. If you are a highly experienced person, suggest me further what to be done for the juniors to enhance their knowledge. So, have a wonderful day and great time. Thank you.